Hi, this is Jeannie from Trendy Tree, and today we're going to make a Halloween wreath. This is our sign, Happy Halloween. It's about a 10-inch square, and that number is AP8842. And I will put the numbers on the video. We're going to use a 24-inch pencil wreath, but this one has a little purple balls on it just to add a little extra bling. And that number is XX751564. All of my supplies, of course, are from Trendy Tree. I always try to, do tutorials with products that we have in stock. Now, if you're watching this video in 5 years from now, no, these same things may not be in stock, but now we leave our tutorials up because you can follow the same basic instructions and just pick out, different mesh, different ribbons, different signs. We're going to also use this border mesh. It's lime green and it has a purple and copper and black foil on the edges. And then I have 6 ribbons picked out. I watched Damon Oates with Deco Exchange make a wreath the other day, and he used, this is a terry bow technique. It's not, Terry Marshall created the terry bow, and this is a little different version of that, and we're going to use the Easy Bow Maker, but I have 6 ribbons picked out. One is a lime with an orange polka dot, and that's RGA 1464XW. And I love this ribbon. It's a watercolor ribbon, watercolor stripes with a lime glitter stripe. It's RGA 1920CN. A lime and black gingham check, which is 1.5 inches. RGA 12117H. All these ribbons are wired. A heavily glittered purple, and that is RGA 130023. It's also 1.5 inch. This black and orange jack-o'-lantern ribbon, it is X9114040-21, and the last one is lime green, heavily glittered, RGA 130033. So the first thing we're going to do is just make our bows just to get it out of the way. We're going to need 3 bows that are all the same. Well, pretty close to the same. They may not come out exactly the same, but I've already made 2. So I'm going to zoom in real close and we'll get this one bow made and then we'll get started on the wreath. I'm going to start with this watercolor stripe ribbon. This is one, it's 2.5 inches. This is the Easy Bow Maker, and we sell these on Trendy Tree. It's just a little wooden board and some pegs, and it has markings on it. One of the spools, one of the pegs is for a ribbon holder. So I'm going to make my tails about 8 inches. So I'm going to measure off 8 inches. I'm going to pinch the ribbon up, drop it down in the slot, twist it. I want to get my right side up, and I'm going to make this first loop about 7 inches. And there's markings on the board. So just make your loop, drop that down, twist, get your right side up, and then make a 7-inch loop on the other side, okay? So now I'm going to come back and cut that tail off, and that'll be our starting for our ribbon. Okay, so we're just going to kind of keep these separated as you go. Have a loop and a loop and a tail and a tail. And that just kind of, our next ribbon we'll put, well, I'll show you. I'm sorry, I'll just show you instead of talking about it. So we're going to take the polka dot ribbon, going to make another 8-inch tail, pinch it up, twist it, drop it in the slot, and on this one we're going to make the loop about 6.5 inches, just a little bit smaller than that first one. Okay, make a loop on the opposite side, same size, 6.5 inches, drop it down, cut off your tail. I'm going to press that down. So now I'm going to kind of pull that loop over so it's laying on top of that tail. Kind of spread that out like that. You can always kind of keep an eye on your loops. You do want to keep your loops of the ribbon the same ribbon the same size. Sometimes it's easy to get them a little different. Okay. All right. So next we're going to take the green check. And you know, you don't have to go in this particular pattern. You can just go just about any way that you want to. But I'm trying to make them about the same. So 8-inch tail, twist. And I'm going to twist this gingham even though it's about the same side. It's the same on each side, but I'm going to twist it just to stay in the habit of doing it. Making that about 6.5 inches. Twist. Do the same on the other side. Okay, cut my tail off at 8 inches. And we can trim these tails up later too. They won't have to stay this way. And then I'm just going to kind of move my loops around. So see, I've got a loop and a tail and a loop, okay? All right, now next, I'm going to take this jack-o'-lantern ribbon, and I'm not going to do loops with it. I'm just going to lay it in there, have an 8-inch tail on each side. It's just a pretty ribbon. You can make loops if you want to, but that's just going to add just a little, I like that pattern, and just add a little more to it. Okay, the next we're going to use is our purple. It's really thick and glittered. An 8-inch tail, pinch it up, drop it in the pegs, twist. Let's see. And this time we're going to come down and make the loop a little bit smaller. We're going to make it about 5 inches. Twist. Make a loop on the other side. Just have to kind of move your ribbon out of the way so you can see your marker. 5 inches, 8-inch tail. Okay, so now I'm gonna kind of get my layers right. So I'm gonna pull that loop over there, have a tail over here, a loop here. Your bow kind of looks like an X. Okay? That's how we're looking. All right, now I'm ready for my last ribbon. And it's going to be this heavily glittered green. And on this one, I'm just going to make one loop. It's going to have an 8-inch tail. Pinch that up, drop it in, give it a twist. And I'm going to make this loop a little bit smaller. It's going to be more like about a 4-inch loop. I'm not even going to measure that. It's just going to be a little smaller. And this one is just going to be one loop and 2 tails. Okay, and I'm going to cut that off. Okay, now then, we're ready to take it off our board, and I've got 2 chenille stems. And I'm going to put them together. I need like longer chenille stems, so I'm just going to put 2 together. Twist those ends good, so they won't come apart. You could use a zip tie here or floral wire, either one. Okay, I'm going to press that bow down real tightly, keep it stacked, and I'm going to ease it up off my board. Get the board out of the way, take the chenille stem, and I've got that loop, that one loop right there. I'm going to go right across the bow right there, bring it around to the back, the chenille stems to the back, and then I'm going to twist it tight as I can. And twist that several times. Okay, and now you're ready just to fluff out your bow. Now that last loop, I'm going to make sure that I kind of pull it up so that it kind of covers up my mechanics, and just pull those tails out, and then just start pulling your loops out and fluff those. You want to get all your ribbons fluffed, and you want to also take your ribbons and kind of curl them, kind of go under them to give them a little body. Make sure all your tails are facing the right way. And we're going to chevron the ends of the ribbon, the 2.5 inch ribbon. And to do that, you just fold it. It's a dovetail or chevron, whatever you want to call it. Just fold it, cut across that edge. Now on my 1.5 inch ribbons, I like to just cut them at an angle, but you can do that any way that you want to. And you can trim if you have a tail that's too long. Don't be afraid to, trim it. And sometimes you can't really know exactly how much you want to trim your tails until you get it on the wreath. But if we have to make some adjustments after that, we will. And you can trim your tails as you go, as far as finishing them off. It's just however you get used to doing it, okay? All right, so we're gonna fluff that out, make sure all of our ribbons are seen, and then we're gonna use our chenille stem to attach it to the wreath, okay? So there's our 3 bows right there, okay? So the next thing we're gonna do is start with the 21 inch mesh on our wreath form. Okay, for this wreath, we're going to do the poof technique. Now, like I said earlier in the video, I watched Damon Oates with Deco Exchange do this the other day, and I'm gonna try it. I haven't tried it this way. So, if you don't know Damon, he is the owner of Deco Exchange, and he teaches all sorts of wreath making technique, but he teaches business classes, and he's got several different groups where he can teach you how to run your open and operate your Etsy store, Facebook ads, and just a bazillion different things. I told him the other day, I said, you do so many things that I can't keep up with you anymore. So, but anyway, he is a great teacher, and this was something that I saw him do on his Deco Exchange page the other day. But you start, just fold the end of your mesh down, and we're going to start on the outside. Now, this pencil wreath with balls, it's important that you twist your mesh. Use the twist. Don't twist it by the balls, okay? All right, so we're going to do like a 10-inch poof. So we're not going to measure that with a yardstick or anything. We're just going to go from like one twist to the next twist. Not the next twist, we're going to skip one. So we're going to start here, skip a twist, and then measure right here. That's going to give us about 10 inches. We're going to pinch that up, and then we're going to come back and put it into that twist. That's going to give you about a 10-inch poof, puff, bubble, whatever you want to call it. And then you can just kind of fluff that out. Put your hands under there and just kind of fluff it out. And we're just going to do that all the way around on the outside. But measure, skip a twist, go to the next twist and measure, and then back it up and put it in the twist. And I'm just giving the twist a couple of turns. This is rather thick mesh. It has polypropylene, but it also has like fiber in it, probably polyester. I love the colors in it. It does not have any foil, but it's got orange and lime and purple and black. Just perfect Halloween colors. We're just going to work all the way around the outer ring. And y'all, if you follow us on our Facebook page, I hope that you do. It's called Trendy Tree City Mercantile. And the reason it's called City Mercantile is because that's the name of Carrie's retail store in downtown Pontotoc. Now, you'll find things in the retail store that we don't have on the website, and vice versa. So, but the City Mercantile store does not carry everything that we have on Trendy Tree. So I'm always afraid when people come from out of town that they think that when they come to City Mercantile they're going to see all these Trendy Tree supplies, and that's not the case. There are some things there, ribbon and signs and some things, but certainly not everything. The warehouse is closed to the public, but if you place an order online and you want to pick it up at City Mercantile, you know, we can do that. We can fill that order in the warehouse and run it over there. But you just need to let somebody know. We also have just recently started a new Facebook group. It's called the Trendy Tree Wreath Club. So if you like making wreaths or making flower arrangements or projects or crafting or garlands or just anything like that, you might want to join that. Just look it up on Facebook. It's the Trendy Tree Wreath Club. I love these ball wreaths. Those little balls just give it just a little extra bling. Especially good for Halloween. Just remember to, you know, when you're securing that mesh, to twist by the body of the twist. Now I took a work wreath one time and hot glued some balls to the tips of it. It turned out really cute. It really wasn't that much trouble, and it turned out really cute. But the work wreath works better for that versus the pencil wreath because the twists are larger. Okay, so now I'm on my last one. So I'm going to go ahead and cut my mesh free. Get that out of the way and make that last poof. Well, I'll be darned. I am not sitting here if I didn't miscalculate. I was thinking I was on my last poof, but I was not. So I'm going to have to patch that. Bound for me to do that. Well, that's what happens sometimes. So you just have to, you know, have to fix it. You make a mistake and have to fix it. So I'm going to cut a piece. Has that ever happened to you? Well, you know, if it's going to happen, it happen on camera, doesn't it? Okay, so I'm just going to open that twist up. I'll fix this. It won't be noticeable. And once we get our wreath finished, you'll never know it. Okay. Get that last poof made. And we'll be good to go. Sorry about that. Just take a little extra time to fix that. Okay. All right. That poof looks a little bit large, so just hang on. Let me make it a little bit smaller. You know, I didn't measure or anything, so it just looks a little too much. So I'm going to make it just a little bit smaller. Okay, And since I have those extra tails, I'm gonna flip that over right quick and put a zip tie on it. Just so those tails don't pop out when I don't want them to. So I'm just gonna take those tails and secure it to the wreath form. I don't want any surprises. Okay, so that's okay. So no harm done. Okay, all right, so the next thing we're gonna do is take our, we're not gonna go with poofs on the inside, we just did the outside. We're gonna take the 10-inch mesh and we're gonna cut it in 25-inch strips. I'm gonna trim this off and just get the edge straight. And I believe I think there's 8 twists on the inside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, there's 8 twists on the inside, so I need 8 pieces of 25-inch. And since that's all I've got to cut, I'm just going to use my cutting mat, my rotary cutter. This self-healing cutting mat makes cutting so much easier, and the rotary cutter. I love this border mesh. It's plain mesh on the, it's a base of just plain mesh, and then it's got the foil on the ends, which is really where you need it, especially when you're doing something like a ruffle wreath. Just need one more, and I'll have a little bit left over. Okay. Okay, get that out of the way. All right, so to make this, we're gonna fold it in on each end, and then scrunch it up. So you sort of got like a big ruffle curl. And then open a twist and putting this on the inside. Okay. So we're going to do one of those all the way around on the inside. So fold the ends together, roll the ends together, and then scrunch it up. See, that gets your mesh showing. I mean the foil, not just the mesh, the foil. So we're gonna roll that under a couple of rolls and then scrunch it up. Secure it right in the middle. roll and scrunch. I thought it might be easier. If you want to lay it down, it might be easier. Either way. I tell you, there are so many good wreath makers out there. Some people teach and some people just work and make wreaths, but Julie Samaco, the Wreath Club of the Month, Lori Jacobs, Hardworking Mom, they all have so much to offer. Their techniques are all a little different. Nick's Seasonal Decor, Kali. Kali does a lot of grapevines, a lot of florals, and she's an excellent bow maker. Rhonda's Creative Corner, Terry Marshall. I mean, there's just so many people that are just really, really good at teaching. Now, we have started a Trendy Tree Wreath Club on Facebook. I don't think I mentioned it. If I did, just have to forgive me. But if you look us up on Facebook, it's called the Trendy Tree Wreath Club. And it's all about making wreaths and creations and crafting. And it's just a community that's just growing every day. Okay. So now there's our base. I like the way that turned out. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is attach our sign. And I had already put the staples on my sign. So I'm going to just kind of position the sign. I'm going to take the chenille stem. I'm going to kind of reach through, just kind of work my fingers down through the wreath and get the sign to the where I can attach it to the work wreath frame. Get the chenille stems where I can attach it to the work wreath frame. Okay, after you get your sign attached, you may want to go ahead and make a wreath hanger so that you can kind of, hang your wreath up so you can see the placement, okay, if it's in the right spot or not. And then you can always take the chenille stems that you use to attach your sign, take your loose ends and wrap those around the work wreath frame just to make the back look neater. You don't want chenille stems sticking out everywhere. So just wrap those ends around the work wreath frame, okay? All right, now the next thing we're gonna do is put our bows on. So I'm gonna hang my wreath up. And I have my 3 bows on chenille stems, and I'm gonna put 3 on the side, and let me turn my board around so you can see it a little better. Is that better? Okay, so I'm gonna put, I've got everything in the floor under my feet here, y'all. I'm gonna take the chenille stems and we're gonna put 1 at the top, 1 at the bottom, 1 at the top and the other one in the middle. So I'm going to start with this one at the top, and I'm just going to work my finger. I have my long chenille stems, and I'm going to work my fingers through the mesh and pull that chenille stem to the back and wrap it around the work wreath frame. I'm not going to pull it down too tight into the mesh because I want the bow to kind of lay on top. But I need to twist it and secure it. And then when I get them all secured, I'll turn around and I'll work on the back. Put 1 at the bottom, and I'm just working my fingers through there and get the chenille stem, and then I can kind of fluff them after I get them secured. And if this is easier for you to take it and lay it down on the table, you know, you can do it that way. Okay, and then I'm going to add one in the middle. Okay. All right. Take that down where you can see that. Okay. Now, the next thing we're going to do is put some ribbon tails along the outside of the outer ring. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like we need enough ribbon tails for 5 twists. That'll kind of balance this out a little bit with these bows on the back, on the side, and then we'll put the ribbon tails over here. That'll balance it out a little bit. And we're going to make those 14 inches. So this is my ribbon tail cutter. So I'm going to take the Halloween ribbon. We're going to make 5 pieces of each ribbon. That's 2, 3, 4, 5. And just cut that ribbon free. Slide your scissors under there and cut. Hold on to it. Turn it to the other end and cut. Now, what you can do right here is take your ribbon. This is 3 pieces at a time. You could probably do all 5 and chevron that in. The ribbon board comes from Hot Mesh Mom. You can buy that on Etsy. Such a time saver. Now, of course, you can make your own, you know, you can make your own out of cardboard, but, you know, they'll eventually break and bend, and for just a few dollars, I mean, that's a lifesaver. All right, so that's 5 of that, and we're going to cut 5 of this one. I will cut these ribbons and come right back. You don't have to sit here and watch me cut ribbon. Okay, so I cut 5 pieces of each of my 6 ribbons. I have 10 twists to put a ribbon cluster in, so I'm going to put 3 ribbons in each cluster. And I'm just going to just make them random. I will just pick up some colors and layer the ribbon. So I'll put 3 pieces of ribbon in each cluster. So you take the ribbon strips. Now on my 1.5, I just cut those at an angle. On the 2.5 inch, I did a dovetail or a chevron cut. So put those in the, just layer your ribbons, put the smaller ones on top, fold it in half to find your center, and then pinch it up, kind of gather it, make your ribbon cluster, and then find a twist. You don't have to open it back up, but we're going to go on the outside. So we're just going to lay that ribbon cluster down in the twist and twist it 3 or 4 turns. Remember not to hold this particular one by the balls. And then spread those ribbons out. Okay, you want them face up. And we're going to put one of those clusters in each twist. And each time I'm just going to pick up different kinds of ribbon. Just a random pattern. Oh, random is not a pattern, is it? Randomly pick them up, I guess. Just spread out those ribbons. And, you know, give them a little bit of curl just to kind of, so they won't just stick straight out. You don't want them to just stick straight out. I'm going to go ahead and do that on all 10 twists on the outer edge. Of course, this side, we're not putting any ribbon strips over there because we have plenty of ribbon with our bows. And if you put them on the inside, they would not show. They'd be covered up and under the sign. So we're putting the ribbon clusters on the outer ring. Well, as always, my math never comes out right, and I've got a couple of extra pieces of ribbon, and I'm not going to let it go to waste. I'm going to go ahead, since I've cut it, and just find a place to stick it. And if it shows, fine, and if it doesn't, that's okay too. Okay. I just hate to waste ribbon, so I'm just, that's all right. We'll just use a couple extra pieces. Okay, so now I'm just going to kind of go around the wreath and kind of fluff the ribbons. Clip any strings if you have any. I really didn't have any strings to clip. Using that ruffle wreath, that ruffle technique, rolling the ends and then gathering up, really cut down on the unraveling. Of course now, straighten your ribbons and or give them a little curl, and sometimes you cannot tell that your ribbons are wrinkled up until you actually get it on the door, and sometimes I will do that and take a picture and then I see a blank spot or a hole or a ribbon that's twisted. But anyway, that's our finished wreath, and it measures a good 27 inches, and I like it. It's very cheerful. I love the glittery ribbon. And I hope all the supplies came from Trendy Tree, and I'll give you the links to all of those, and there'll be a written blog post that you can see on the Trendy Tree blog too. So I hope you're subscribed to our channel, and I hope you'll check out our Facebook group. Just look us up on Facebook. Our Facebook page is Trendy Tree and City Mercantile, because City Mercantile is Carrie's retail store in downtown Pontotoc, and the the private group is called Trendy Tree Wreath Club, okay? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.